about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. This is a special edition of Conversations with Nicole. This is our policy talk. And today our very special guest is Mr. Daryl Parks, a Democrat for Florida State Senate District 3. But my co-host tonight is Mr. Attorney Chuck Hobbs. So y'all welcome Chuck Hobbs.
Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Hello, Nicole. Happy to be here.
Yes, happy homecoming, Rattler.
No doubt about it. Strike, Rattler, strike. And, what a wonderful week to have the guest that we're about to have, Daryl Parks, one of the legendary Rattlers from our generation.
Yes.
I think Daryl might have been the only two-time SGA president, if I recollect. Yeah, no doubt about it. And those were some wonderful years, boy, when Daryl and his team used to run up in a city and set out the presidential suites and what have you. It was good food and good Christian drinks and and biblical fellowship and what have you. So
right.
A little bit, but yeah, I'm glad that we'll have an opportunity to chop it up with him this evening about this very important race here in North Florida.
Absolutely. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Attorney Daryl Parks. Yay! Welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you tell the people who you are in your own words. Not what you do, but who are you?
Well, thank you. Outside of what Chuck said and the nice suites we had, but I came to FAMU in 1986, became a student leader, student activist, and as soon as I got on campus, really got involved with student-type issues, student government, veteran FAMU campus, became a student body president once, and also became one twice, but I wasn't the only person to do it. I was the first one to do it, not the only student to do it. During the time I was at FAMU, we had many great things happen. We led marches. We marched on things like tuition issues. We marched on state budget cuts. We marched on students inappropriately being sent to the Gulf War. We stood for things that we thought weren't right. We were a voice. And then from there, also while on campus, I pledged to beta a new chapter of Alpha. Had a chance to really work with and get to know a lot of great people, work with faculty and staff when I could, work with administration when I could. Was fortunate enough to be there during the Humphreys era. And I'm a proud Humphreys era person.
Me too.
And I really had a chance to work under Chuck's mom, Miss Dr. Vivian Hobbs and Dr. Eva C. Wanton, and they mentored me and Daryl Jones and made sure that we are whatever you all see today. So FAMU is deep in my blood. It's homecoming. Got the phone with my kids. They can't wait to get here and turn up. The only regret they have is that they won't be here Thursday night for Glorilla. Hey, I'm gonna go in there instead, and since I happened to mention it in the campaign meeting this morning, I think most of my team is going to see Glorilla Thursday night. So
okay, nice. Well, let's jump on in. We do have a few folks in the comments. I see Enigma Sepp here. Thank you for joining us, E, and Miss Tanisha Joy from the FAMU Rattler Town. Tallahassee, love it. All right, so this is an interactive live, so your comments and questions are welcome. So like, share, tag, let folks they need to be on here to have this live conversation with Daryl Parks. All right, so Daryl, what led you to seek this elected position at this particular point in time? I mean, you and Parks and you and Benjamin Crump had a successful career in law, and you've done some great and wonderful things. So why this position at this time?
Well, Nicole and Chuck, you sit back and you watch what's going on in Florida. You watch, the attacks on public education, where you're pitting the public schools against the charter schools. You watch the culture wars, where they're trying to ban history. You watch how they're treating the LGBTQ community. You watch the book bans. You watch the attacks on voters' rights. And you sit back and you realize that you have a person like Corey Simon in the seat who speaks to none of that. In fact, he's for most of the BS that they're doing. Mm-hmm. So you sit back and you watch that, and you have to say, who is going to do something about this? Who? Now, you're right. My life is really pretty good, Nicole. I've had a great career as a lawyer, wonderful children, travel the world. But I also believe that I have a big obligation to the people of this community, if I'm a person who can do something about it, to speak up and speak to it. And we deserve far better than a recycled football player who thinks he can come do some good because he only played football. Seriously? And so there are plenty of issues that deserve to be spoken to, whether it's, healthcare issues, that we face some serious issues as it relates to job opportunities. So a person sitting in the seat should be more than just a photo op person. Should be a person who has a voice of their own, experiences of their own, cares for the general welfare of the people of this community, everybody in this community, not just a few they hang out with, but just overall really care about trying to do things that makes things better for everyone. And not just a sound bite and a damn ad.
All right.
That's where I am.
Thank you for your response. Chuck?
Daryl, one of the things that I have found troubling over the course of this past year's race, particularly with the campaign ads that I have seen coming out trying to attack you as a trial lawyer, distorting your record, making it seem as if somehow using that old Republican trope of greedy trial lawyers and what have you. How can you speak to, or what would you say to the voters of District 3 with regards to many of the successes that you and your former law partner have had through the years with regards to fighting for the rights of people who could no longer fight for themselves? I have sat and watched you and Ben do some great work with regards to Martin Lee Anderson, Trayvon Martin, and so many others that people might not know because they might not have had the name recognition or been in the media as much. But you all have done some amazing work trying to get compensation for people who should still be alive to this day. And yet your opponent, Corey Simon, has tried to use your stalwart career against you in the negative. What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, a couple of things. One, when Corey Simon and his bosses, because there are a couple of guys who his bosses don't look like us. When Corey Simon and his people do that, they understand what they're up against. Okay, and think about who Corey Simon is. Corey Simon is a football player, came out, had a Pop Warner football program, had a little mentoring program right in this community, and that's his claim to fame and volunteer Florida. He ain't got nothing else other than that. Now, Ben and I come out, start a law firm, representing people, Chuck, dealing with life and death issues, okay? I mean, when Black people mainly have been, mistreated by the police, mistreated by anyone, voting rights cases, we have stepped in, oftentimes did it pro bono, didn't make any money. And in the cases that you think about, you can't compare what I did to Corey Simon. When you think about, I think about Michael Brown sometimes. I think about Michael Brown laying there and us doing an autopsy on him because someone tried to lie about how he was shot and killed, how they tried to cover it up, how we went down there, put our lives on the line, safety on the line, to represent and make sure his story is told correctly and to hold those people accountable. When you do things like that, comparing me to what that fella did, it's not a comparison. We're talking apples and oranges. That is why the people that I'm going against know that they could never compare a Pop Warner president to representing and fighting for a person who died, who lost their life, right? I often think about Martin Lee Anderson. I don't know if y'all remember the day we exhumed that boy's body, right? That FDLE had to come down there and use their authority to bring that boy's body out of the ground. It is that type of thing, that type of action, that type of life, that type of thing we have spearheaded. That is life and death. That don't compare to the Pop Warner dude. Okay, that ain't. I'm all for the kids, but we talking two different things. We talking life and death. So the people I'm going against, they know that I've lived a serious life, not a fun life. That ain't fun, right? Watching Martin Lee Anderson's body come out of that vault ain't fun. Okay, sitting through his autopsy ain't fun. That ain't fun. That's serious. Getting to the bottom of things. So the people that control Corey Simon, they know that's the kind of life I've lived, and that if any serious person ever heard the stuff I'm telling you, right, that compared to the guy doing the volunteer stuff, we're not talking about the same thing
at all.
Not the same conversation at all. So that's why they had to come at me so hard, baby, right? Because we talking real stuff over here. We're not talking about feel good, sign up for your 6-year-old for football. That ain't what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that response. So, Daryl, reproductive rights are on the ballot as well. What are the key differences between you and your opponent on this issue?
Okay, first, that's a great question, Nicole, because he has made his life the fact that he voted no for the 6-week ban, right? And that he did. But the problem with that is he had about 3 or 4 other votes, right? That he didn't vote for, that went against a woman's right to choose. That's the deal. The other part of that, that's up. So you got the one piece of those 6 weeks, but you got 2 or 3 other votes that he did right that did not go in the woman's favor. And that's what he doesn't say. Then publicly in the newspaper on September 17th, he said that I'm not going to vote in favor of the amendment that's on the ballot. So that's the difference. That's Corey Simon. Now, I believe that the government has no reason, no purpose in being in a woman's doctor's office. And when a woman and her doctor decide their health, they should be able to decide whatever they want to decide. And so that's the difference, right? I don't think the government has no role in a woman's doctor's office with her as she makes decisions, period.
Okay. Thank you. Chuck?
Fair enough. Daryl, one of the major issues this past year or the past few years has been property rights here in the state of Florida, particularly with regards to property insurance rates, hurricane insurance rates. Our state has been hit, as it is almost every year, with a number of devastating storms. Our area, the Big Bend area, and your district in particular, have been hit nonstop, not just with the hurricanes, but also with the tornadoes that came through here earlier this year. Can you speak to your potential voters about what your position would be from a policy standpoint, advocating on behalf of homeowners, renters, and those who are just catching all sorts of hell right now because of the storms, and then being underinsured or adequately insured, but not able to get those premiums paid because the insurance companies are, pretty much dragging their feet?
Well, a little background first, Chucky Hobbs. First thing being that for the last 25 years, the Republicans have been in charge of state government in Florida. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, they have mismanaged the insurance situation totally. So start there. The other piece of that, though, is they have decided that the solution was to give the industry $3 billion, a $3 billion bailout, a giveaway, I think is a better term. They just gave them $3 billion. Now, we all need insurance. However, I think we got to take a deeper dive. The solutions that the Republicans have had up to now mainly deal with making it harder for consumers to be able to bring a case against their insurance company. That's been their solution at this point. Well, what we now know, and I brought this point out in our debate, most of the claims are going unpaid. The solution. And so what you're going to have is a bunch of people one with depreciated houses that have been severely damaged that they can't get fixed because of the insurance situation, and because they've made it harder to bring cases. And so it was interesting from the debate. I made those comments publicly. I noticed that the insurance industry then went and took out an ad in some of the paid political publications to try and defend themselves. And going back to Nicole, when you asked, why run for the seat, this seat used properly is a heck of a vehicle and platform for the right person.
Okay.
The right person. So you will see that I will speak truth to power. Yes, I will cross out a little bit, right, when it works, right. But there's some things that should not be negotiable. That we ought to learn to stand firm on a few things and protect things that are near and dear, and that go to the foundation of who we are and what we are.
Indeed.
At this point in Florida, it gets a little murky sometimes when we allow people to attack our history, attack our culture. And, history and culture go to the foundation of who you are and what you think about yourself. And so
show you right on that. Show you right. So listen, we are a little more than halfway through our talk. There are a few more folks that have joined us. Diva Locke, thank you for being here. Janelle Gallen, thank you for being here. She said, I voted for Daryl. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you.
We got attorney GC Murray on here. DP will make an amazing senator, he said.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for coming in. Yes. Doyle Smithers, I agree with the history. All right. Thank you for being here. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we are on with Daryl Parks, Democrat for Florida State Senate District 3. Chuck and I have been asking the questions, but you all are also welcome to ask questions as well. So feel free to do so in the chat, and hopefully we'll get to that. All right. So Daryl, what are some of the key issues that you would like to see addressed in the Senate?
Well, a few things. I think we start one with obviously the insurance issue is number one, and abortion rights to the extent is number two. But we now see across all 13 counties, most of the public schools have lost a tremendous amount of money. The total amount lost per year because of the school policies of Corey Simon on the other side of state government has been $90 million lost. Leon County alone has lost $28 million per year as a result of these new policies. The school, it's having a dramatic effect on the smaller school districts. You take, for example, Madison, where they're having to close schools. You take other school districts where they are seriously having some program challenges because of the loss of funding. You never hear our current senator speak to the public education system. The public education system is the foundation of most of these communities. What you hear him talk about is just school choice. And not that I'm not against school choice, but I am for the other 90% of the students who are left in the, the Godbys of the world, the Ricketts of the world, the Childs of the world, the NIMS middle schools of the world. Those kids deserve a fine system and to have the attention and benefit of our leaders as well. So I will argue for that. The other big piece, I think, is just better healthcare. I think that we have to focus on primary care, making sure and arguing for Medicaid expansion. The Republicans continue to be against it. Medicaid expansion would be so important if we were to have it in the poor communities to assist people in paying for their medical care. So I advocate for that. I'm for that.
Okay. Thank you. Chuck?
Daryl, one of the things that I would compliment you on, brother, is that you, in many ways, and we go back almost 4 decades as friends and brothers and what have you, since I met you when you were about a freshman or sophomore at FAMU, and I was finishing up high school here in Tallahassee. One of the things, we've had thousands of conversations through the years, and one of the things that I have always respected about you is you have the mentality and a lot of the character of a legendary politician from our area, the Honorable Al Lawson. And what I mean by that is Al Lawson was a longtime Democrat, but Al Lawson was also a Democrat who a lot of Republicans respected and were willing to reach across the aisle to work with during his career in the Florida legislature, as well as his tenure in Congress. With that being said, we have 2 Black men running for this seat, you and Corey Simon. Corey Simon is a Republican, and I'll add he's a MAGA Republican. He has cloaked himself in the language of Donald Trump as well as Ron DeSantis. So we know where he stands. And yet, despite knowing where he stands, there are a lot of people in our district who, because they are friends with him or they've known him or they remember him fondly, like you say, for having played football at FSU and in the NFL, they are putting, or they seem to be putting that at a higher premium than what the issues are and who might be the best advocate. So having made that comment, my question to you is, what would you say to Republican voters makes you a candidate that's worthy for them to take a chance on? And likewise, what would you say to Democratic voters who may be considering voting for Corey Simon because that's their boy, their friend, their old teammate, or whatever that may be? Can you expand on that a little bit?
So let me start with the latter, the Bouchers of the world, right?
Okay.
Because Boucher is probably a friend of both Corey and mine, right? And I think Boucher would have to agree I'm probably a more serious person than Corey Simon as it relates to real deal nitty gritty issues. But I respect the fact that they both are former football players, probably closer friends. And so just because that person is his friend, he's gonna vote for him. That's fine, right? And Chuck, I'll say this here. I think Corey Simon's world is his world, and there are probably a few people in what you and I probably call the bourgeoisie that hang out with them kind of folks that probably feel that close connection to him, and then they'll choose to want to go with him, right? However, right, I think there are other folks who have a great respect for, one, I'm a nice guy too, and I've spent a lot of time around this community and probably engaging in more activities and more people and working across the spectrum. You take just FAMU alone, having served as not just a student body president twice, but also served as chairman of our boosters for a few years, served as vice chair of our board of trustees for a few years, and having served as chairman of our foundation board. Really just a lot of experience across the board. And when you think about within this community, the work that I've continued to do for years, for 25 years, I've chaired our Sickle Cell Foundation here in Tallahassee. How I've currently chair the Bond Community Health Clinic Board in working throughout, working through my fraternity, both whether it's Alpha or the Boule. So the work here is tremendous. Let me say though, so the people who are friends with him, they're his friend. That's fine, right? I'll probably never get those people, right? And then some of those friends have businesses that have probably gotten some benefit money from Corey during his 2 years in the legislature. God bless them too. However, the Democratic friends, I really speak to you because if you care about something more than just whether or not your kid got a scholarship from a charter school, if you care about good health care, if you care about our public schools, the Rickards of the world, the Hartsfield Elementary, and the NIMS, I'm probably your guy. If you care about somebody advocating for better job opportunities in our community so that you have a better chance of making a good wage that you can live off of, I'm probably your guy. If you care about a guy who probably believes that, maybe Black History matters and a Black state senator maybe should fight for that. Any state senator should fight for that, rather than one guy who, like a Corey Simon, who's willing to give that away. If you care for a guy that I believe that, books should be in the library and there should be different types of books and we shouldn't ban books. He believes in banning books. I don't. So there's a nice, big, clear, glaring differences for folks who want to listen to. The problem with campaigns, you don't get to tell the full, real story. You get little 30-minute blurps and folks start believing that that's the world. That is not the world, right? The world is a long career that you alluded to, Chuck, of serving this community family by family, serving this community, fighting for cases that became famous for public relations, but some that did not. But being a type of person standing in the gap to give people justice and liberty that they're entitled to. And so the MAGA Republican people is most of them have seen me on Fox, Chuck. You've seen me on Fox. So they know that I'm not some crazy, right? Corey and his bosses have to make me out to be a crazy so that they scare some folks who don't know me. That they maybe try to align me more with somebody who is far more anti-police. I tell you, if you were to ask Walt McNeil today, am I a supporter? You would have asked Maurice Young, am I a supporter? Even though Maurice Young endorsed Corey so he could get his sheriff's station. I get that, okay? But go ask him, does he think I'm a supporter of law enforcement? Ask Sheriff McNeil. And so they've had to create, as you know, both of you all know, in the world that Corey lives in with them other people, you have to create a us and a them, right? If you don't create a us and a them, then and most people will know. I think about another difference between what Republicans. I've started businesses. Corey hasn't. I've been a successful business person, right? He hasn't. I've won the Payset Award from my chamber. So I've won the Minority Business of the Year from MedWeek here. So I have a long list of business accomplishments that this other guy doesn't. So the fact that I'm far more business friendly, I'm involved in the hospitality business now. So from a business standpoint, I paid plenty of monthly taxes, okay? Provided plenty of employee benefits to my employees and looked out for them. So I have that background that this guy doesn't even come close. What are we talking about?
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Thank you, Mr. Parks. All right, this will be my last one, and Chuck will close us out. So even if you are successful, Daryl, Republicans will still be in the majority. How will you work across the aisles to achieve your goals?
Well, it's what we all know in life, Nicole. If you actually take about 15 minutes to talk to a person, get to know them, you more than likely come back with a different viewpoint of them and what they're about. So to the ones who are open to that 15-minute conversation, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, boom, there you got it. We have had several folks chiming in. Chandala, DP for Florida. Doyle said, when you win.
Yes. Amen.
All right. Okay, Chuck, final question.
Daryl, again, this has been a wonderful chat. And, we're praying for you over the home stretch here. We have exactly 1 week. What will this next week look like for you? I know that it's FAMU's homecoming week as well. Give us a little bit of an idea about the challenges that your team will face trying to turn out votes over the next 7 days.
Well, y'all, we got to get the brothers and sisters out, y'all. Especially here in Leon and Gadsden County, we got to get the folks who look like us out to vote. That's why we have a Corey Simon. We all stayed home last time. We're working very diligently. We'll be on the streets like we've been. I just left the street corners of Tallahassee. I've been on the streets all day today, waving those signs back there. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to get this vote out. We're going to win. And this time, next week, I'll be getting a call from Corey Simon saying, congratulations, Senator. And I'm going to just tell him, put some respect on my name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that what you going to say, sir? Put some respect on my name.
Damn it, you know it.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, this has been quite the conversation.
Keeping it 100. Always.
Hey, and I'm just getting started.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We're just getting started.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. All right. So
thank y'all for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Our pleasure. Please tell the folks, and I'm trying to pull it up now, how they can connect and,
Okay. DarylForFlorida.com is our website. DarylForFlorida.com is our website. Please go there and consider giving to my campaign. I really appreciate it. It's a huge campaign. We've had to raise over $5 million. We need to get closer to $6 million, over 5 already. We got 2 days to go. Appreciate the love and support. We've had over 3,600 donors, y'all. So a lot of love in these streets, y'all. A lot of love. And thank you to all of you. The Republicans thought we wouldn't have it. They thought we'd run out of money, all right? We still standing, still strong up in here, and about to take it home. So, hey, it's all good.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Very good. Well, again, we thank you for joining us today. Again, Daryl Parks from Florida.com is where you can connect and find out, what's going on and how you can support the work that he's doing. Chuck, any closing remarks?
No, Daryl, like I say, brother, much love. Wishing you all the best, and I'm looking forward to celebrating with you next week.
Joel is downtown election night.
We'll be there. Yes, sir.
Right. Thank y'all.
All right, wonderful. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next time. Y'all vote. Early voting lasts through Sunday. This coming Sunday is the last day. So there are 10 early voting sites across Leon County. I'm not sure what the number is in Gadsden, but you can go to your supervisor of elections website to find out those details. But please get out and vote. Get out and vote. Yes, November 3rd. Thank you, Chandela. November 3rd is the last day to early vote, but election is on November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. That's your last opportunity to vote. Okay.
Absolutely.
So exercise that right.
Absolutely.
All right.
And, and Nicole, we were talking last week. Ordinarily, I wait until election day, but I had a conversation this past weekend at the FAMU Southern game with our friend Sika Trueblood Green. And she was explaining to me the importance of her casting her ballot on FAMU's campus as an early vote with all the history that's going to be made, obviously, with potentially Vice President Kamala Harris becoming president, as well as FAMU and FAMU legend Daryl Parks winning as well. So I think I just might go up on campus and cast my vote as well early so that I, too, can be a part of the history. Either way, it's going to be historic, but the symbolism of being able to vote on the Florida A&M University campus for Kamala Harris as well as for Daryl Parks was not lost on me. So anybody that's interested in those types of thoughts might want to give that a consideration as well.
Yeah, hadn't thought about that, but that is that's pretty special, especially considering the history of voting with the FAMU student population. So indeed. All right. Well, thank you so much for being my co-host.
Thank you all for having me, and I look forward to seeing you out and about this week, striking from the top.
Absolutely. Go Rattlers, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.